Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
And welcome to Jake Reads Your Comments.
That's what I do. And then I give them to Hugo, and then Hugo reads them to me.
Yep, so today we're here to read your comments and talk about them. Later in the week, we will have our Loving the Bad Man review.
It actually took us a while to track that down. Did you know it's not available on the internet?
Surprisingly. So, yeah, that's at my house right now. And
It just came in the mail.
It did. Mail, a thing that still exists.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for the first time a drone accidentally breaks something into my house. Like a window.
Get that sweet, sweet Amazon settlement.
Here's your window. They drone the window to me.
And then it crashes into a second window.
It's just a series of window breaks.
I ran out
My
of...
life is just broken glass and pain. That's kind of like normal.
Black Mirror, give us a call. Anyway, here's the first comment. Josh... Ooh.
Ooh.
To Jago and Hugo.
I don't like this specifically because it should be Hugo and Jago.
You know, if
they did Jago because it's the two-syllable and Hugo second.
If Mad Max Post-Apocalypse happens, I'm gonna start going by Hugo.
Hugo?
Yeah, I think that's a good post-apocalypse name. Get a weird outfit, maybe a boa or something.
For some reason, they always find like half an exploded tire and put that around their.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, you're in the desert wasteland and you go, I don't know, maybe we should wear trash. Like, clothes still are. The reason we don't wear trash now is because this is better.
Yeah, like.
It's not because it's fashionable.
Ancient peoples knew how. Yeah.
Anyway.
I keep seeing more and more people in your comments section who say you've become full SJWs.
Uh-oh.
But I don't see it. As far as I can tell, you're the same as you've always been, at least in terms of content. Do you think you've shifted further left since you started the channel?
If we've shifted further left, I think the only aspect in which we've shifted further left than where we are now is the things we choose to make fun of.
Yeah.
And we kind of avoid people who get made fun of in bad faith.
Sure.
In general. Like, not always, but in general. Like, Caitlyn Jenner, she still ran over somebody.
Sure.
So that's still fair game. But making fun of her transition is not something we've ever done.
No.
Or like, I don't know, the Bohemian Rhapsody movie just came out. So Freddie Mercury, he died from AIDS. I think that's a funny joke somewhere in there, but like, because we make AIDS jokes all the time.
It's
you know what I mean?
Down, generally.
Right. But so it just depends. Like I think that's pretty much it. As far as like the claims were SJWs, is because a lot of the people that say that, they watch bad content. They watch bad content like Undoomed, like Sargon, stuff like that. Just because they say they're skeptics and they say they're classical liberals doesn't mean in fact they have ever been left-leaning. I think Sargon is as... Of all of those people that say, I'm a classical liberal, he at least was actually that for a little bit.
I don't know.
He was very early on. I totally believe that, and then I think he fell into his own thing. But as far as us being SJWs, the SJWs don't like us that much.
Nah, the thing about people calling everyone SJWs
Means nothing.
I think this partially comes from, I want to blame South Park for this a little bit. South Park, funny show, but it made not giving a shit super cool. You know what I mean? It made the, you care and you want to do a thing or make a movement to try and affect some change in the world. Well, sit down and shut the fuck up. Like, that seems to be South Park's ethos, and I think a lot of younger people grew up on that, so now anytime anyone actually is like, hey...
South Park is social one-strapping it.
Sure.
With a Jan sport.
It's a little bit of...
No coat when it's cold out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need to be caring about any problems with the world because that's not cool.
We have arguably... we have up to 60 years on this planet, right? Hopefully less, but the void should be close by. But that's a weird meme.
Okay.
Millennials craving the void.
You know why?
Because of the boomers.
The world is super shitty.
Right, but yeah, no, I don't... Wanting the world to be a better place, like wanting people to have rights that don't normally have them. Like, was gay marriage like we haven't shifted this ideal. We've been pro-gay marriage since this channel started.
Yeah.
And like, we're very consistent on that. Like, right now, trans rights are the thing. And so, like, openly support Harris. or H-Bomber guy in his stream and stuff, openly supported it several times. I got called an SJW a few times for doing that. It's like, why? They're people. Who gives a shit? Like, to me, if you're consistent in your value sets, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter, like, I don't know. Like, there's social justice warriors and there's social justice advocates.
I don't care for the term social justice warriors.
I don't either, but I know what they're talking about when they say that. It's someone who's like, you know, for instance, being near a man and they do something innocuous, like what was her name? Rebecca Watson, with the person, like, just being on the elevator and the guy was like, hey, you want to grab a drink sometime? And she felt very assaulted by that. Like, that's obviously a too far thing, or like, you know, the concept of like everything having original sin because you're a white man or something like that. Like that's that. But
the vast majority of people being called social justice warriors are not that.
Like, I've encountered a real social justice warrior like maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm very online.
Yeah.
So, as far as that, it's dismissive because we're making good points. And they don't want to actually engage because they know they'll get I was gonna say destroyed. That's not a word.
No.
Destroyed.
No.
Not anymore! Fuck! Alright, next.
That's about the quality level we're at.
Yep.
Claiming we're great, then plateau.
I didn't say we were great.
Abject.
I said they were bad. I don't have to be. I am not trying very hard when I say, hey, it's easy not to be a dick to somebody. Like, that gay person just wants to suck dicks. It's not a very highbrow opinion, but it's the correct one.
Sean Peary, dear Hugo.
No.
Oh, no, sorry. Dear huge disappointment.
I understand how you could misread that.
Understandably. Dear huge disappointment to their family and jacking off in the bathroom. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on. Little hurt by it.
About the Jesus speech video and the Old Testament. For the quote, nothing shall be changed, Matthew 5, about the old laws. This is only true until it is finished. What it is, no one really knows, but Jesus did state on the cross that it is finished, so that the Old Testament ends with Jesus' spirit leaving his body on the cross. So Jesus fulfilling the scripture and abolishing the old laws by, quote, finishing it. Please correct me if I'm horribly wrong. Sincerely, Scene Peeing.
You're horribly wrong, and I'm going to correct you. So the first argument, until it is finished, that's not what he says. He says until everything is accomplished. And also, the last thing he says on the cross isn't always it is finished. Sometimes it's, Father, why have you forsaken me? It's other stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no words at all.
Father, why have you forsaken me? Sounds like a thing a guy who thinks he's the son of God would probably say. As
when he realizes he's like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, he says you're correct in saying he has not come to change any laws, blah, blah, blah. You get it wrong, though, and here's why. Quote, and this is in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. We just did the Bible study on this, which is why this question came up, but I want to reiterate it. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets being
Abraham, Isaac, Moses.
Yeah, all those guys. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. Not just the prophecies, but the laws themselves. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure this is earth, and Christians believe heaven still exists.
Maybe Jesus' nickname was just, hey, heaven and earth, how you doing?
Right, so it literally means...
And then people are like, Jesus, why do you keep doing this? And it's like, someday you'll get it. And they're like, no, we'll be dead.
Because they don't understand, because they didn't have firearms. But if they lived in America, maybe they would have.
How do people on Star Trek give each other finger guns?
Nope.
Do they give finger phasers? How do they...
No one had any freedom before the advent of the firearm. That's true. That's a true fact. So anyway, yeah, this means that, like, literally, Earth and heaven have to be gone. Or the heavens, I guess. So it'd have to be after the end of the world, according to Revelation, or according to end times prophecy, I guess. So yeah. That's why you're wrong. And you can use that argument against Christians if you'd like.
Alexander Tigerstone. Dear Emperor Jake and Emissary Hugo, as part of the whole JBP series that you guys are doing, have you two ever considered responding to anyone who makes a response to your videos on JBP? Or is this something our Lord and Savior Jake does in his live streams only?
So the last thing they're mentioning is, if you would like to debate me, it's open on stream.
Twitch.tv/actualjake.
It's not gone well for anyone recently. I'm going to release something later on abortion. Oh boy!
So in real ban?
Oh boy!
Okay.
Wowzers.
What did they say?
Nothing smart. That's for sure. You'll see. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It was just really thorough destruction. As far as people who make, I think I know who you're talking about when you say this. I'm not going to respond to people in bad faith, right? So clearly when Hugo and I do it, there's definitely going to be some jokes at Jordan Peterson's expense, but most of it's a critical analysis, right? 99% of the content I see is focused around ad hominem attack.
Talking about how we're soy boys.
I'm a soy boy. He dyed his hair. They're fat. They're ugly.
I am fat and ugly.
Okay, so
nothing to do with the quality of content.
So I disagree. I think you're beautiful, and so do they. But still, shut the fuck up. And I don't know. That's just not like. What am I gonna do? Sit there for 3 hours and go? Okay, when are you gonna make a counter argument? It's like watching an Undoomed video where it's just like horizontal mambo. Where's my blowjob? If you think I'm making those up, I'm not. That's actually content that he's put out onto the internet, and people pay him for it. Not a lot of people, but some people pay him for it. So yeah, no, it's just like if you want to make actual counter arguments, absolutely.
Sure.
But if it's just a bunch of people circle jerking, I'm not really interested in it. I do like JBP fans if they come prepared.
Sure.
I absolutely like it. I love the debate of like the concept of, I don't know, lobster hierarchies, right? Does our society actually run on the lobster hierarchy model? It does not. But I like the concept of debating that and the facets therein. But if you're just gonna be like, you take him out of context, you're not a psychologist, you can't read his book. Then how can you agree with him if I can't disagree with him without being a psychologist? Well, that's irrelevant. I have a fedora. You have to be better than this. So yeah, that's why. But any JVP fans are allowed to come on my stream, and they have to come on my stream because if you're a troll, you get to leave. And also, I get paid.
I need to start streaming and just bringing up like Elon Musk articles.
Well,
I feel like
that's very appropriate for this next one.
Oh no, is this gonna be okay?
Not really, just the.
Alright.
Yeah.
Dear Elon's oh god, I don't know anime words.
Sundeer? I don't know.
Sundre. That's I don't know. And Jake and Bake. Being as active as you two are in politics, and with a substantial fan base backing you, I've wanted to know how you two go about keeping yourselves in check in respect to your views and your stances on various topics. It seems to me, with a lot of folks who become big into politics and social commentary and such, there's a reasonable fear that the attention might taint them into becoming more egotistical, radical, or generally disassociated. Having been watching since the beginning when I was 15 to now, I'm glad to see you two have developed in a good way and have not become corrupted as many content creators or developing celebrities have and still do.
So this is a good question, I think.
What's the question? It's
so the question is basically how do we not go to an extreme in our views? Like, how do we not sit there and have a bunch of people circle jerking us?
Well, that's
and
subjective.
like kind of echo chamber us. No, I agree, but like
a lot of people would probably say we have very radical views. I would disagree, but that's how views work.
Sure, but I would say, as far as keeping ourselves in check, I think the number one thing is that we don't give a shit what your opinion is. We have a healthy distaste for the people on the other side of this camera, and we understand that whatever they I don't know if you've noticed, we don't try to validate ourselves by sucking your dicks.
Sure.
It goes the other way. You have to suckle us and then we feel good about ourselves.
I don't care either way.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong.
mean.
I like to put out content, and I like to put out content that reflects my views.
But I
at
think
the
if
end
it's
of the day,
genuine when we put it
people
out,
either like it or not, whatever.
right? But I think people can tell. We get a lot of comments like, I really feel like as parasocial relationships go, I feel like I could sit down and have a conversation with you, and it's very chill. It's very we don't do. We could be much more successful if we did a lot of jump cuts, if we highly edited, if we made short content on very vapid things. We could make a lot of money pretty easily.
I don't know about that. If that's the case, I would do it right now. I like money.
Well, you don't work nearly hard enough for that to happen. But if you want to, you could easily you can make 10-minute and 1-second videos on look at this pop culture reference and smash cut constantly and just keep it moving. But I like the kind of casual, we have a discussion and it's fleshed out thoughts and it's not surface level. And there are people that do that well. There are people who do that poorly. And then I don't know. I kind of like that because it's conversational. We keep each other in check. I think it helps having two of us, first of all.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as I consume a lot of right-wing media, and I can tell you, for one thing, it certainly doesn't make me more right. It makes me more left every single time I read something. Like Ben Shapiro opens his mouth and I go, all right.
Time to seize the means of production.
Yeah, but I saw, did you see the Sunny D?
No.
The Sunny D corporate account on Twitter was like, I can't just tweet it, I can't do this anymore. And then Moon Pie replied, was like, are you okay, Sunny? And then Sunny replied something to the effect of, yeah, I'm good, I was just having a rough one. What? Are we to the point of late capitalism where even the corporations are like, fucking kill me? like, you know what I mean?
I'd imagine the same parent company owns both accounts because they own both products, and it's like, we'll do an interaction thing.
Yeah. Anyway.
Corporate synergy on social media platforms for millennials in the 21st century.
Yeah. So I made a screenshot and tweeted, the communists were right. Because this is it's going too far. So yeah, like I don't know, as far as keeping in check, I don't think it's very if you have a reasonable standard to how you make your opinions, I think you're always going to end up left-leaning, but not a leftist.
Sure.
Right? At least for now.
March. Dear insert clever nicknames here. That's my favorite one.
Little cop-out, but I respect it.
I have been an atheist for almost 10 years now, but before that I was pretty devout Christian. I was very involved in my church's youth group for a long time, but as I got older and my reading comprehension improved, I realized that the Bible was basically full of shit, and didn't make any sense, especially when compared to our modern understanding of science. Problem is, I've never been able to shake the fear of going to hell. It feels very stupid since obviously there is no hell, but after spending a good portion of my childhood being indoctrinated by seemingly friendly youth pastors into the idea that if I don't accept Jesus into my heart, I'll burn in a lake of fire and brimstone for all eternity, I can't seem to move past that fear. And while I don't plan on dying anytime soon, knock on wood, if I did, I wouldn't want to spend my last moments in existence worried about whether or not I made the right choice. Is this a problem you've heard of others recovering Christians having, or having experienced yourselves? I would really appreciate any words of advice.
I guess the fear of hell for apostates is pretty common, I think, especially for devout Christians.
Sure.
Obviously, I didn't experience that. I think you did more than I did. I guess from a non-religious perspective solely, my initial reaction is hell isn't real. Like apply your standards of evidence to the thing that you're scared of. Does it seem rational? No. Because, basically the entire reason you believe the thing is people made the claim. It's not because they made the claim and then gave you very compelling evidence that only contradicts other compelling evidence. There isn't, both sides to, the marketplace of ideas here is one-sided. Right? You know what I mean? It doesn't have any weight to it, but I understand the emotional tax that takes.
It's hard, especially when it's something, because I was raised religious, when you're told something as a kid, often, especially someone like me who, went to a religious school and that was part of the curriculum, it becomes almost instinctual, even though on a, conscious, my own thoughts and beliefs level, I recognize things like that as not being true. For a long time, it is something you kind of struggle with, just because your brain automatically, almost in a muscle memory sort of way, wants to go to, yeah, but this, because you're so used to going, to that place. For me, it just ended up taking time and fairness. I mean, you've said you've been an atheist for 10 years, so maybe you just need more time. I don't know. But for me personally, I think it also helps that, as far as I'm concerned, if there was a hell and it functioned the way the Bible portrays it, I don't feel bad for going to hell. I just feel like that's a fucked up system in which I have essentially no chance ever of succeeding, and it would be beyond my power.
Right, because consider that, like, you're an atheist right now. Like, you're not gonna genuinely believe in your last moment anyway. And that's the parameters in which you get, and depending on your faith that you come from, I mean, you might have to take other steps besides that, and your deathbed won't even matter. So, I mean, like, opting into it because it's fear, like, doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever. It's Pascal's wager. It's living your life like that and then betting on it in the final moment. Like, it's not like you're going to remember you did that anyway, so I mean, like, not really a big deal. But dealing with the constant fear of it, I think, is a big deal. So, I think you should address that. Run down the list of reasons why hell exists.
I would say that too. Basically, existence of literally Christian hell. Because I don't think there's an afterlife, but if there were, I guarantee we know nothing about it.
Right.
Because there would be no way of
able to observe it whatsoever.
Yeah, there'd be no way of retrieving information from it if it were the case, and it doesn't appear to be.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Whatever.
And a Christian would argue, well, the information is the Bible, but the Bible is so unreliably inconsistent.
It's so reliably inconsistent.
Well, unreliable / inconsistent. Then, it doesn't strike me as a it's a little bit of a genetic fallacy, but it doesn't strike me as a thing you can take factual evidence when they make claims without real life. I don't know, tangible. I guess we'll just use the word evidence again. Like they just don't have anything to show you to say, look, I know it's flimsy, but check this out. Here's an unexplained data set. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have that. So there are things that have, like, dark matter, for instance, is one of those things where we have evidence of it, but we can't observe it.
Yeah.
Like, that's my standard for believing in a hell, is like, if we just can't get to it yet, okay. Or anything. I have in a ghosts, like, it doesn't really matter. So it has to have some sort of, like, effect, and there just isn't one. So I don't know what to tell you other than it's just not real, and you'll, like, apply your standard of evidence to it and see how that works out.
Signal, dear Hugo, who have been some of your other narky hate crushes in the past, and how do you feel about Hitchens in that regard? Dear Jake, you once mentioned in a video that you don't really have too many mental health issues going on, which is pretty good considering you grew up around alcoholism. Aside from being naturally extroverted, are there any other things you would attribute your decent mental health to? Not trying to suggest you have zero hang-ups. I hear even people who've had great childhoods have those.
So you go first. Some of your narky hate crushes.
For those of you who don't,
and about Hitchens.
For those that don't know what she's talking about, I've had this thing for Elon Musk recently where I just hate the dude because he's a nutbag. He is a narcissist who just lies to investors and the public consistently, and it annoys me. And in a live stream or something, I mentioned that it's like almost a hate crush. I get this on narcissists, where it's like a crush in severity and length, but the opposite. I hate this person. So
JBP's a good version. Who was
Jordan
the other
Peterson.
one?
I don't know if
there was one before that.
Here's the thing: I don't know if Jordan Peterson's a narcissist. I just think
That's
he's
fair.
very wrong.
That's fair.
Elon Musk, I think, is a narcissist. Donald Trump, I think, is a narcissist.
That's the other one I was thinking of.
People like Bill O'Reilly and Rush Limbaugh, I think. A lot of people in the right-wing sphere, at least the high
Bill Maher, to equal it out.
Sure, Bill Maher.
Hitchens, like, not Richard Hitchens.
I honestly, and this is gonna sound, I guess, almost sacrilegious from some people. I haven't watched a lot of Hitchens. I haven't read a lot of Hitchens.
He's
so I don't know enough about him to have an opinion. And he died right as I was getting into this kind of stuff. So
I respect portions of Hitchens. Because he's a very good public speaker, and he's very good at, or was, very good at making very scathing counterpoint. This is why the hitch slap thing is a fucking
I like
meme.
him. I've heard him talk about, or when he was alive, I had seen him talk about, like, Mother Teresa on Penn and Teller's Bullshit, the show they had on Showtime for a while. That was pretty compelling, but I don't know.
Islam stuff is pretty good. Basically, like, the basics of, like, why a belief in God is unethical.
Sure.
Like, I think he's very correct about a lot of that stuff. My problem, like, he's very anti-abortion. He was very pro the Iraq War. Like, he's got a lot of these neo-lib things, I guess. Neocon, I don't know. He's hawky. Yeah. I don't think we don't politically align up very much, but as far as how he expresses himself, he's very firebrand in that way, but as far as how he expresses the ethics of, like, Islam, and specifically, like, a hell existing, or Mother Teresa. Very good. Also, soothing voice, whiskey lips. And his brother's a super Christian.
Oh.
Which was interesting, because they would debate from time to time. He's a very good debater as well.
Sure.
I think he's entertaining, but again, politics, I'm not really in line with him that much. As far as my mental health, you got 2 out of this one.
Oh, yeah.
As far as my mental health, yeah, pretty good. I don't really have... I'm trying to think if I have any... I think my major flaw, as far as, like... I don't. One of my major flaws. If someone tells me to do something, I automatically won't do the thing, or I'll very much begrudgingly do so. So it really annoys me, and I think that's probably from my dad.
Sure.
Because he was one of the people who was like, do the dishes, and I was like, okay, I'll do them later. He's like, no, do them now. It's like, but we're not gonna. We've eaten dinner.
Sure.
I have things to do. Like, I'm in high school at that point. It's like, do them because I said so. No, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And so that always annoyed me. Like, I'm very much for requesting, but yeah, I get very obstinate. I also avoid things that stress me out. Like, I can afford bills now, but I avoid paying them until I have to. Like, and I don't know why I do that.
That's weird.
It is weird.
I pay all my bills, like, when we get paid, I pay all my bills, and then they're done for the month. And then
yeah, I don't know why. I try to do that. I set it, like, I have a list and I set a time.
Sure.
But I just, like, sometimes it just, like, I don't know. There's some, because I was very poor for a really long time.
Yeah.
And, like, it stresses me out still. Like, I have this fear of, like, I have plenty in my bank account to cover all the fucking bills I have right now. But what if I don't?
Yeah.
It just... but, like, as far as my mental health, I don't think any of those are mental health issues. At least nothing that, like, deserves, like, calling it a mental health issue, I think is, like, in bad taste when I'm sitting next to someone who has actual mental health issues that needs to be addressed, right? Like me being a piece of garbage or occasionally.
My psyche, my brain, if it were a package, the United States Postal Service would not send it because it's being held together with, like, bits of tape and twine. And
it looks more like a pipe bomb.
Yeah, like, we can't send this. Maybe try again. Have you tried a flat rate box? I don't know what that equals in mental health care, but
I'm trying, as far as what I attribute it to, I honestly don't know. Like, I didn't experience a lot of abuse, but my dad wasn't great. They were both alcoholic. My mom was always pretty good. Like, she's very loving. I think the one thing that she did incorrect growing up was acquiesce too much.
Yeah.
You could see that, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's because it comes from a place of love where she wanted, like, we weren't spoiled. Right? It wasn't like, ooh, my baby, don't touch him. She was like, no, you fucking hurt yourself, it's whatever. Like, but at the same time, you could wear her down and, like, get what you wanted.
Yeah.
My brother was very good at that. That didn't, I think maybe dietarily, in high school, and like, I picked up some bad habits. But I've since pretty much shirked them. But yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know what I attribute it to. I had just a really well-rounded bring up, I guess. Like, there was one asshole, one loving person, kind of balanced out. Was into sports, but also nerd stuff. Lived in the woods, spent a lot of time in town. Didn't have the internet until like 2004 or something.
Holy shit.
2003.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Where we used to live did not have high-speed internet. It still doesn't.
No, I live further out than that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was even worse. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what I attribute it to. Maybe I'm fucked up. Ask me again in 10 years. We'll see what happens.
Owl boy. Dear Jake, here at my university, in my literature class where I proposed to do my presentation project on Natalie Wynn, Contrapoints. If you don't know who Contrapoints is, she is a YouTuber and excellent.
She follows me on Twitter. We're best friends now.
In talking over the idea with my professor, we started to talk about the trans experience in America, to where my professor talks about not using gender-neutral pronouns other than Z, Zim, and it continues to talk about how smart...
And it. No. And it.
Z-Zim I get it. Z, Zim, and it.
Ugh,
and
yikes.
continues to talk about how smart and good of a writer Jordan Peterson is. Oh no. In my presentation, she wants me to defend the use of singular they and present rebuttals to JP and Ben Shapiro on trans people. How should I go about
First
this?
of all, she's a literature teacher. She's a literature professor. You're at university. She has a master's in this. She should understand the history of singular they, and you should smash it home. And several times you should reference anyone with an education in the field would know they has been used as a singular noun or pronoun since blank. And then look directly at her and go, like you. And then, I'm not kidding, 100% do this. Like, have some big dick energy here. Channel your inner me. As far as your rebuttals to JP, just watch our videos and literally, you have my permission to word for word rip us off. My permission. Do they have permission from you?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe clean it up a little.
Clean it up, yeah, definitely put it through a fucking word processor and, like, maybe go through a thesaurus and right-click and use synonyms, but just, make it pretty. But and definitely make sure that you rehearse at least once before you do it out loud. They say in front of a mirror, doesn't matter. Literally just read it out loud. This is good for anybody that's writing a paper that you have to orally speak at any point, any report whatsoever. Say it out loud and read it out loud, even if you sound stupid, even if you're alone to nobody, because if it sounds weird when you say it out loud, it'll sound weird when someone else is reading it that is in your head. So very good advice for you. As far as Ben Shapiro on trans people, how should I go about this? Well, since you're doing your report on Natalie Wynn, you got that. I think ask her for permission to rip her off word for word.
Yeah, check out her video on pronouns. That involves, I believe, Ben Sharpeo a little bit.
Sharpeo?
I keep doing that.
Shapiro.
He's
just Jewish.
I have so many problems saying Shapiro. I
don't know why.
For some reason, I always fuck it up.
Shapiro. It almost sounds like a dog breed.
A little bit.
A Shih Tzu. But, Ben Shapiro isn't correct about anything. He says facts over feelings, yet he's a Jew who says... I said that with a lot of stank. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yikes. Whoops.
He is Jewish.
He is Jewish. He's a Jew! And he, his argument for pretty much all of that is, look, it's yucky.
Yeah.
Which is a feels thing. Did your tummy just make a noise?
Yeah.
Did you get a poop?
A little bit.
I had a bad poop in Panera Bread today. What? My tummy made a tum-tum noise. I think we're going to poop together. Anyway, Ben Shapiro, it's so easy. I don't know what the question is as far, like, I'm surprised that person is like, I'll use Z, Zim, and it. You need to hammer the it issue. If she's actually saying, like, I'm going to call people its, you need to fucking hammer her on that. In every possible facet. You should be just kicked out of that class by the end of this report. I'm not kidding. like if she doesn't kick you out, okay, you better be getting an A, okay? Send this to me, record it. You're going viral. I'm gonna help you. This is bullshit. This fucking university, And they say our universities are filled with gender study SJWs. Are you kidding me? No, they're filled with fucking idiot cunts. You get her. You get her good.
My politics professor, self-professedly, when he was in school, was called Mr. Fox News. Liberal professors. He was actually a nice guy, though. I'd imagine he's not a Trump supporter. He's the kind of person who strikes me who would say, I'm fiscally conservative, but like...
socially liberal. I like the poor people. I don't want poor people to exist, but I also don't want to help them.
The Crimson Fucker. This is the final comment. Dear Hugo and Jake, I'm coming up on my 5th anniversary with my girlfriend on February 17th, and I am completely clueless as to what to get for her. Any ideas to help a poor man out?
Break up with her. I'm kidding. I don't know the person, so I can't give you any specifics, but in my experience... if you don't know what to get somebody that's an object,
experience.
Purchase an experience. Yep. Something that you'll enjoy and remember together. That's good. Like Sarah is her birthday is coming up, and she doesn't have any piercings at all. And so I was like, well, you want to go get some piercings? Like a septum piercing and an earring, or like maybe even a tattoo or something. That'll be an experience regardless of what she goes through with that we will remember, and we'll probably go get dinner and stuff. And then fuck weird. Make sure to fuck weird. It's your 5th anniversary. You're only gonna have one.
Don't talk about fucking weird.
Don't tell anybody.
In the room with your friends.
No details. You can just say that you fucked weird. That's fine.
I already don't like it.
You don't have to think about how weird it is. You don't have to imagine all the saliva. That's on you. There's lots of spit. It's like a slip and slide.
Okay.
But a bed.
So, this is the end of the episode.
I'm just trying to imagine what that actually is. Like, it's just like, is it covered in like plastic, and then you spit on it and you slide around?
You gotta get latex.
I don't actually know.
Rubber sheets.
I don't know. I don't think anything I do in the bedroom would make someone puke, so... Unless that was what we were trying to do.
Okay, so you can always... Here's a P.O. box. You can send us movies and stuff, too, to review.
Vomit is underrated as a lubricant.
So... Oh, God. The acidity... Oh, God.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Jesus Christ.
Please don't do that. Someone's gonna take my sex advice at some point and puke in their girlfriend's butt.
No, they can see you. They're not gonna take your sex advice.
I fuck!
So... Follow us on Twitter at PapaBirdJake.
Yep.
Hugo Reloaded.
Yep.
I'm trying to get this done so there's less.
That's what she said.
Oh fuck.
Because there's too much vomit.
Patreon if you want to support the show.
Yeah.
Loving the Bad Man review later in the week.
That's not gonna make this better.
Oh God. Until next time, I'm Hugo.
Twitch.tv/actualjake. Come debate me about puking in each other's orifices. Orify?
I don't know why I did that.